What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another new Ultimate Universe What If. This would be 18, you could say XX, or 18 Big X, you could say, or SS, if you want to say. This will be what if Naruto was the only male in the Naruto universe, and had a harem, you could say. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Like, someone already did this before. I'm just copying someone else, or all that crap. If I am, you know, shout out to them, my bad if I copied dog. But people was asking me to make this, and I'm going to make this. So this will be what if Naruto was the only male in Naruto and had a harem. 18SS. Now, how would we start this off? How would this happen? How would Naruto be the only male? And how the fuck would this basically work? For this to work, we're basically going to have everything happen as the same. Well, not really. We're gonna say at the era there was a big storm or mist, you could say, that happened when the fight between the final family between Madara and, you could say, Harashimar. I'm gonna say Madara accidentally activated a jutsu with his Rinnegan because we're gonna say he had it at the time for plot because he took some of Harashimar's DNA when they was fighting, and pretty much he activated a dojutsu, a dojutsu thing, which it went wrong. This thing basically clouded out and went around the world. Now, over time, this is where everybody started turning into, you could say, females. Now, if they was males, they all was turning into females. So there's no really males no more, but females. Now, over the time of years, everything happens as original canon. It's just everybody's females, including Kakashi, Obito, and everything was like that. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, then how is Kakashi supposed to be born and stuff? Listen, I'd let y'all know right now how it works. Basically, they had, you could say, a jutsu where they can basically reproduce so no one won't die or anything, or the earth will end. So that's what basically will happen. Yeah, basically like that. You could say by that. They have a secret jutsu where they can basically reproduce with cells. Now, over time, they've been using this to repopulate the Uchihas and all that and stuff, and the seal regularly just produce females. There was never a male, or you could say nothing like that. Now, we're gonna go all the way to the Nine Tails attack. Well, before the Nine Tails attack, this is where Kushina is giving birth, and female Minato is basically waiting for the baby to come out, and this is where it's a boy, where everybody is shocked, including um, female Minato, that they have a boy, and also the elders, who's there too, who was helping out with the baby, sees that it was a boy. Now, after, sorry about that, I had to kill a bug, but pretty much after that whole situation, we could say this is where Minato starts attacking, and the attack goes absolutely crazy, as original in canon. Now, as that all happening, this is where everything happens the same. Um, this time, Minato doesn't have enough time, and he seals the full Naruto's Cherokee into Naruto, so that will also cause a different effect. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I left a couple secrets in there, secrets in here, but y'all gonna see. Basically, we just pass forward and we start with a 5-year-old Naruto. Now, this 5-year-old Naruto is basically, a little boy, and basically the village. How can I say? The village don't hate Naruto because he has a special charm to him. You could say so. They more like they don't hate him, but they do. Well, no, they have a liking to Naruto. It's more opposite. They don't hate him because they're all females, and plus they have a liking to him. So a 5-year-old Naruto is basically born, well, basically, growing and stuff. And he's basically, going around the village and stuff. And the villagers, welcome Naruto, show him love and care and stuff. And you could say, offer him gifts and stuff when his birthday comes around and stuff. This is where Naruto does the same thing at original canon, helps out Hinata with a bunch of, you could say, girls bullying her, and asks if she's alright and making a smile. Which this is where Hinata falls head over heels for Naruto again, and that pretty much happened. Now this is where Naruto's basically walking home because we're gonna say he has a home and he doesn't have to live in trees and stuff. This is where he sees female Sasuke, and she pretty much looks at Naruto and spits her tongue out at him, which Naruto does it back. And this is where they have that, you could say, rivalry bond right there for one another. It started right there. Now we'll do another time skip, and we're gonna start with a 10-year-old Naruto. Now this 10-year-old Naruto is basically trying, working on his chakra control and stuff. Really trying to like do his chakra and stuff. Now this is where we're gonna say his genetic genes are pretty much kicking in, and he has a secret Kinkai. Well, you could say multiple. Well, hmm, well, he has a power, but yeah, you could say. Hmm. Well, I just tell you when the right time comes. Now, this is where Naruto is, working on his chakra control, and his chakra control is all right, but it's not nearly in its prime yet. Now, of course, this is where Naruto is basically, um, doing the test, and he fails, which the instructors they basically tells him that he can he can basically have another go at it, and he doesn't have to go back to the academy because, like I said, he's the only male, and well, actually, let's make it 13 because I want to have a consenting age for various reasons. But pretty much this is where Naruto fails and stuff, and pretty much this is where the women are saying that it's okay. Like there's another way you can pass, which Naruto raise the eyebrow and say, "What is another way to pass?" Now this is where they basically smile and says that just meet them at this certain location, and Naruto basically says, "Okay." Now this is where Naruto's basically going, and Mitsuki, she pretty much planned it with the other teachers, you could say. And Naruto's pretty much going. Now, as Naruto's going, uh, this is where you could say Mitsuki's there and Aruka Sensei, and it begins to, let Naruto in. Now, this is where Naruto's basically, sitting on the couch and trying to see how he's gonna pass, and they begins to start you could say undress themselves in front of Naruto. Now this is where Naruto begins to you could say look away, which they pretty much tell him don't look away, which Naruto pretty much look at their naked body. Now this is where they grab both his hands and they put it on both their breast size chest, and they begin to say this is his his chance to make up, which Naruto says the make up, which pretty much they said that they're going to see how good he's are in the bed. Now, this is like I said, the spicy part. So if you're not old enough, but then again, I know half y'all's not old enough, but I'm gonna give out the warning because hey, I just like to do it. If you're not old enough and you can't handle if you're a holy religion good noodle boy, please get the fuck out of the kitchen because this shit's going to get so spicy. But other than that, let's continue. Pretty much, this is where Naruto pretty much lays down. Well, pretty much is laying down, and Mitsuki, she pretty much sent on Naruto's face, and pretty much Naruto is eating her out, which she's moaning about it. Now this is where Aruka, she's sucking him off, pretty much, giving him that good head, that good dummy head out of the world, and pretty much this is where Naruto, nuts in her mouth, where she devours it like a goblin. Goddamn. But pretty much this is where Naruto, pretty much, about to do his penetration. Now this is where as he's doing it and stuff, he's pretty much going in pretty raw and stuff, and he, like I said, going in, and also making out with Miski, you could say. Now, this is where his change reaction power kicks in. Well, you could say his secret change reaction power kicks in, and it starts to awaken. Now, this is where Naruto begins to not, like, you could say physically change yet, but one of his powers is, you could say, kicking in, which we're gonna say his insides got a little bit bigger. Well, his physical body got a little bit bigger, and he pretty much is still doing them. And this is where he, nuts in Aruka Sensei, and then he basically goes to Mitsuki, and he does the same thing because he has energy, and he feels like he's much stronger, and he basically, does nuts in Mitsuki, and basically, lays in the bed with both of them. Now, this is where Naruto's laying in the bed with both of them, and he basically gets up and gets dressed, which they have a headband for him, which he basically takes the headband and basically goes out. Now, this is where Hinata was basically, seeing where was Naruto's going, because we're gonna say sometimes she wanted to see what Naruto's doing, and she see him pretty much walking out with a headband, which she doesn't know what they basically did, but you could say it's a you could say headband. Now I know what y'all thinking. Wait a minute, ain't Ruka Sensei like um if it was like a harem, ain't she'll be like a mother figure to Naruto? No, because like I said, no village hate. Like the village doesn't hate him; they more like love him. And plus, he's the only male. And see, plus they're trying to get some BBC. And the males who was a female at one point. Now they're just want some punani, you could say, or some deep, you could say. Now we're just gonna move on now, and pretty much this is where Naruto is basically in his house and stuff and saying what was that power because he felt like he's much stronger. Now, what am I basically saying right now is basically Naruto has a secret power as his power activated now, and now no women can resist him. If he does something stupid or gets mad or calls him a bitch or anything, this secret power is called like harem or like how can I say like Love X. I'm just gonna call it Love X. It's not a kinky henkai. It's not as dojutsu. Well, you could say It does have a dojutsu, but the power alone, it's not a kinky henkai. Now the dojutsu, it has a you could say a power as it turns your hair into a different color, as it turns it into more like more like a dark pink color, and your eyes be a dark pink color, like a crimson pink. And basically, that's what Naruto's having right now as he's sleeping. His body is transforming. It's basically making him a tiny bit taller, a little bit more stronger in strength and stuff. His eyes is turning dark crimson pink, and his hair is turning dark crimson pink. And it also grows long as the extent of Madara's hair. His hair grows long like that. Now, this is where the next day Naruto wakes up, grabs his headband, not really looking at the mirror and stuff. He just takes the leak with his eyes like still shut, and he goes out. Now, as he's going out, this is where uh we're just gonna say he falls down every time on a certain spot. This is where he trips again and about to fall on his face until he catches himself and does like a cool flip, which he realized that he regularly don't nail that at all. But he don't think as it weird, and he continues on. Now, before the academy is starting, well, we're gonna say before the academy started, we're gonna say they have like a 2 weeks break, and pretty much Naruto is going to do go to the ramen woman shop. Now, this is where she sees Naruto and she says, Naruto, it's nice to see you. Which, she's blushing. Which Naruto says, it's nice to meet you too. It's nice to see you too, Romilly. Which this is where Naruto asks for, a bow, which she says, okay. And she basically makes it as fast and she regularly does in canon. And basically, Naruto says, wow, that was quick. She says, anything for you, Naruto. I mean, anything. Which she basically does a smile. Now, of course, this is where Naruto is basically getting a wide eyebrow because he doesn't know what she means by that. But we all know what that means, right? Because clearly. But this is where Naruto brains his final, power, you could say, or can I say love X evolution kicks in, and it's his intelligence. This is where the thing begins to start unlocking, or you could say start accessing his brain 100% of everything. And things that he doesn't know, like have, like his memories and stuff, that was like stole away and come out in some other way, that begins to start activating too. Now, all his memories is kicking in and stuff, like the memories that he won't remember as a baby. Basically, all that kicks in and stuff, and he's basically holding his head in pain. Which the ramen woman is asking if he's saying, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Which this is where Naruto basically opens up his eyes and basically we're gonna say he has full access of his brain now. So 100% pure full access. And it doesn't, and I know what y'all saying. We basically be using our brain when we're sleeping and stuff. Listen, it doesn't matter. It just works. It's part of the plot. Let's continue. Pretty much this is where Naruto gets 100% full access of his brain. Now, Naruto's basically going back up, and he basically gets up and says, thank you for the meal after he eats it. And basically says that he has to talk to Lord Hiruzen, which he goes and talk to her. Now, this is where Naruto basically talks to Lord Hiruzen, and she basically says, oh, hey, Naruto. Which, this is where Naruto sits down and says, I know about my mom and dad. Which, this is where Lord Hiruzen, she basically said, what do you mean? Which, basically Naruto says, don't play dumb. I know that my father is, and, well, you could say, I know my two mothers was basically the Kushina and Minato. Which, this is where, she spilled the beans. It basically tells everything about her, but his life would be in danger if he has the last name, because we're gonna say female Minato made a lot of enemies as original canon, as in canon. So yeah, also that this is where Naruto agrees upon, but he requests to learn his mom's techniques, to have his mom's techniques. So, or the scroll that the mom had, which this is where Lord Hiruzen, she pretty much agrees upon, and also gives him the scroll of skilling so he can learn from the techniques. Now, Naruto's basically, learning the techniques, and he only learns the Mochi Shaolin Jutsu as in canon, and also learns the Flying Raijin, or should I say the Thunder God. Now, this is where Naruto basically, writes down the rest and basically gives Lord Hiruzen back the scroll and taking her, which she says, oh, it's no problem, which she smiles. Now, this is where we're gonna say, as Naruto is basically going to his house to train, this is where Sasuke, or female Sasuke, is pretty much, training and stuff. This is where Naruto sees and asks what she's doing by herself, which basically, well, you could say Naruto just says, are you training by yourself? Which basically Sasuke, she just looks at him and just continues training. Now, of course, this is where Naruto basically walks up to her and says that can he train with her, which basically she's about to throw a swing, which Naruto catches with ease because, like I said, the development of power, and she basically is confused of how did he do that. Now, this is where she basically backs up and get into a fighting stance, which Naruto basically says, oh, so we actually are going to train with each other. Okay. And basically, Naruto gets in a fighting stance too, but not like any other fighting stance. He gets into the Senju fighting stance because We're gonna say that scroll ceiling has the Senjutsu stance, and Naruto learns it. Now, this is where him and Sasuke, or should I say, female Sasuke, is fighting with each other, and this is where, as they're fighting, we're gonna say one thing leads to another, and they're pretty much in bed with each other. Now, Naruto's pretty much doing her, you could say plowing those cheeks and stuff, clapping those cheeks like there's no other, and he pretty much, done nuts 5,000. Now, this is where female Sasuke is laying on Naruto. Basically, she begins to, open up her feelings again, saying that she basically wants to kill a certain someone, and she has to get strong to kill this person. Or she basically says that it's Itachi, the female Itachi. She basically says that she killed the whole clan and basically Shisui, which we all know what really happened. And Naruto basically, holding her, saying that he will help her. Well, he'll basically, help her out and stuff or something. Well, no, he doesn't say nothing. He just keeps quiet. It just comforts her. Now we're gonna go with the, teams and stuff. Now, this is where Naruto comes in and stuff. Now, all the girls are looking at Naruto, walking, running up to him and stuff, and trying to see if they're gonna be on his team and stuff. Which Sasuke, female Sasuke, she does have a fan girl group, but since Naruto, tapped that. Oh, I should also say that whoever gets plowed by Naruto gets a power boost. So Naruto's gonna plow a lot of women. So he's gonna be pretty well known. But also he's gonna get the power up boost too. So expect to see some Rinnegan abilities, or maybe so. Now this is where all the girls are like running up to Naruto and trying to see if they're gonna be on his team and stuff, including Sakura. Which this is where Sasuke basically gives them all the look to basically fuck off of Naruto. This is basically her man's, which basically Naruto is, having a little like, scratches saying haha. Now this is where the female instructor comes in, and she basically says all the teams. And she basically says for Naruto be his own independent team for now. Well, for now. Well, yeah, an independent team for now. Which Naruto is raised an eyebrow in confusion, which he doesn't know why. But he says okay. Now, this is where Naruto is basically waiting for the team that he's going to be selected in. Which this is where the team is selecting. This is going to be Team 10. Now, this will basically contains like more members than a usual in canon. I know that y'all regularly just want the story to be like, oh, this Team 7, then all that. Nah, it's going to be a little bit of extra. Might as well. This to add in with the sauce and fuckery. Now, Naruto is basically waiting in. Basically, as the door is open. This is where female Shikamaru comes in, and she basically looking at Naruto, and she says, what a drag. And she basically looks at Naruto and says, ah, what a bigger drag too. Which she blushes and look away. Which Naruto, smiles and waves at her. Now, this is where female Troji comes in. She's pretty much, eating chips and stuff. Where she basically looks and says, and she basically just eats her chips and continues. Now, this is where we get like two more, and this is where Sasuke Uchiha she comes in, which she's blushing at Naruto, and Naruto does a little blush at her back. Which this is where Neji, how can I say Neji or Hinata? Yeah, Neji Hyuga. She basically comes in and she's looking at the team, and she's not happily impressed of the team because she thinks she's the strongest out of everybody, including Naruto. Which Naruto looks at her, and he's, basically looks at her with a little bit of a serious look because she said that shit. Which she begins to, walk away, take her seat. We're not looking at everybody, but she's blushing because, like I said, Naruto can infect you. If he's pissed off at you and ready to kill your ass, you'll be simping hard over him and want his dick. But this is where Kakashi comes in and basically looks at the team. Well, female Kakashi comes in and looks at the whole team. Now she's looking at all the whole team, and she basically looks at Naruto especially, which she says that's Minato's child. That's Minato's child. Now, I'm gonna say Kakashi was a little bit of a lesbian for Minato, you could say. A little bit. So it's not far fetched, but pretty much this is where um Kakashi tells them all to meet up in the rooftop, and everybody's dreams are all the same, except for Shikamaru's. Hers is a little bit saying, well, I was kind of forced to put into this because my father wants me to be a ninja, but I kind of don't. It's just a drag. Which trilogy, basically, hers is just, whatever. Um, Sasuke, hers is the same as original canon. Neji, she basically says that it's her destiny to become a power strong Hyuga member, become the next Hyuga member, or the leader of the Hyuga member. And Naruto is basically the same, but he wants to basically become a Hokage, but bring all nations into one. Believe it, which you know everybody except for Neji, she basically talk her shit again, which Naruto basically looks at her in anger, which basically she just looks away but blushes. Now, this is where, Kakashi says her thing, and then she basically says, meet them at the bell test tomorrow. Don't eat or you're gonna puke, which everybody agrees. Now, as everybody's leaving, this is where Kakashi basically gives Naruto a note saying, meet me at my house at like, let's say 10 p.m. tomorrow. So, well, 10 p.m. early in the tomorrow. So, yeah. Um, this is where everybody goes home and stuff. And as they go home, this is where Neji Hyuga, she begins to come up to Naruto and basically says, huh, you look like you got a penny note from Kakashi, which this is where Naruto says, I'm getting sick and tired of your tone, which basically she says, huh, you want to go? Which this is where Naruto says, yeah, I want to go. Now, I guess we can get to a fighting scene, and then I guess it's just going to go down to a sex scene. Basically, Naruto challenged Neji into a fight, and she basically gets in her fighting Hyuga stance, and about to deactivate Naruto chakra points. Now this is where Naruto blinces Neji and basically does a forward punch to her gut, but she does a backflip and trying to get her stance again, but she realized that Naruto is extremely fast. This is where Naruto does it again, and she's trying to get up, which Naruto catches both of her hands that she was trying to cut off Naruto chakra points, and as she's struggling, you could say he looks at her eyes and her looks at his eyes, and they begin to make out with each other. And in the fight into, you could say, intimacy. Now, we're going to say Hinata sees this, and she pretty much is clutching her fins a little bit, saying, Naruto and Neji? Which, pretty much, Naruto and Neji pretty much goes back to his house, and they're doing it and stuff. And pretty much, he's plowing her vagina and stuff, and pretty much plant his seed in her. You could say, or you could say put his seeds in her. Now, after that, Naruto pretty much is, still, well, you could say, is still sleeping. And Neji pretty much, she gets up and blushes. But before she leaves, she pretty much blushes real hard and kisses Naruto on the cheek. Well, yeah, on the cheek. And pretty much leaves him a note. Which we're going to say the next day at 10 o'clock p.m. This is where Naruto gets dressed and starts to head to Kakashi's house. Now, this is part one of what if Naruto was the only male in Naruto, and also yeah, or just the only male. If you like, leave this like. Let's get this up to like 50 likes. If we can get this up to 50 likes, I would do automatically part two. But I'm Keishan Chia. Thanks for watching and peace out.
Looks like you lost another one.